the community. And Vicky, so you can introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello, guys. I'm Victoria. I'm a software engineer here in PYXIS. I've been working here since remember almost 6 years, I think, and I'm a representation of the volunteers here. I'm lead all the team that we do volunteer work here, and we work together with PYXIS to and coordinate these kinds of activities we do.
Wonderful.
Okay, great, thank you. So let me share my screen and then we can jump right into it.
Anna, if you don't mind, I just put it a recording, so in case some of my students missed this, then we'll have a recorded presentation.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. And so please interrupt, please ask questions. I think what we want to do is to make this really interactive, and you can jump in at any point in time, and so let's do it. So what we wanted to do today is I will tell you a little bit about our company and what we do and what is the mission and purpose and how we approach work just in general, not even corporate social programs, but in general. And then we will tell you a little bit about our programs. There are many social responsibility programs that we run, but we picked those that we thought would be interesting. And at the end, we would like to have a brainstorming and discussion of how you see those programs can be helpful either in your communities or in the projects that you work, or maybe in the future places that you will be working. And we definitely will be very happy to share our experience, to think about how we can partner up on some of these programs. And normally beautiful things lead to even more beautiful things. Okay. So a little bit about PYXIS. So PYXIS is a company that started 10 years ago. So this year we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary, and it was founded by 3 friends who were very passionate about the technologies, but it wasn't just technologies that they were passionate about. They really realized that in the world where we're bombarded with technologies, with the choices, where companies need to constantly innovate, to constantly do changes, how do they stay relevant? So they jumped into this thinking of they would be helping companies by using technologies. And that's how the journey started. So little fast forward, 10 years later, so we are a company which employs 300 people, and we're present in many countries around the world, and we have an ecosystem of 10 companies. So PYXIS consists of many different startups incubated under its ecosystem, and those startups, they all work together within the same, under the same umbrella. Okay, so now something interesting. I don't know if any of you knows what PYXIS actually means. So the word PYXIS comes from Latin, and it means Marine's compass. So now this really links to our mission, that we see our mission as to help those who come to us to find their ways. And like I was mentioning before, what we're trying to really tap into is how do we stay relevant in the world where things are changing so fast? Why would customers buy from me? You see that every day you go out there and there are a million products that you're being bombarded by from left, from right. And why is it that you should be different? Why as a company you would be interesting for someone to come and buy from you? And we're getting to, it's obviously corporate social responsibility is a big, playing a big role in it. So, and thus we do choose to work with those who are innovative, sustainable, and transparent. And we can tap into later if you have questions and talk a little bit about our customers, but these are really the companies who are doing the innovative, sustainable, and transparent business. And we have a number of partnerships around the world. One of them, for example, is the part of the SAP Next Gen. This is a unit of SAP. You probably all know them. They are one of the largest technology companies. software, hardware, and we're partners with a department that is very, very strongly advocating for the SDGs. They're working with the startups, with the universities, with you name it, companies and nonprofits around the world to really help achieve the millennial goals. Something that I just saw you have them in your classroom, and obviously this is also what all your syllabus is built around. So this is just a quick snapshot so that you also have an idea of what we do and things that we learned in the last of the 10 years. We help companies to go online, technically, to build their e-commerce and online presence. We help them to be safe and secure, so cybersecurity is a big, big issue these days. We also do cool things, which is everybody tapping into these days, AI, machine learning, and predictive analytics. So we do help companies to maintain their reputation through a variety of those AI tools, right? These are tools such as chatbots. These are tools that are fantastically, crawling the web and reading like the web and doing the analysis and so on and so forth. And then we also do some very, very technical things, such as DevOps or the cloud, things that we normally never talk about, but we need them to be online and to have our online presence. Okay, so now let's jump into our corporate social responsibility programs, right? So we started them, we started them just 3 years after the start of the company. So as you can imagine, this is very, very quick, right? So normally the companies who just launching, they need several years to just start their operations, to start generating revenue. And we were not even there yet, but all our founders are very strong believers in CSR, and just 3 years afterwards, we launched our programs. So let's just take a glimpse of some of the programs that we have. So one of them, for example, is PYXIS Happy Family Day. So once a year, we gather with purpose, right? And this is a very happy event where we party, we raise money. Some people donate their time because they come and cook. Some people help with selling some products, and we're raising some money. And there is always a cause that the money raised during the day, or the food that we gather during this day, is going towards that cause. The cause is decided all together. We sit down, we brainstorm, we look into the communities, we look into the companies, we look into the places which would need this most, and that's where it goes, right? So from one hand, you build the company culture, you get together, you have a wonderful time, and you do wonderful things. So you raise the money. We have a program to help population which is over 50, which I will talk about it a little bit later. And we all know it doesn't matter what country you're in these days, people who are 50 and up, somehow they just...
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, okay, are we good? So yeah, so 50 plus, right? People who are over 50, doesn't matter in which part of the world they are these days, they suddenly are being considered like not fit for work. And it's very hard for them to do career change, for the same matter of like where technology is eliminating a lot of work, where you have to have totally new ways of working. So this is a group that is struggling a lot, and we help them quite a bit. We're also working with a number of underprivileged groups. We're helping students, climate change, and so on and so forth. So the list is long. Now, yeah, we do believe in thinking differently, in challenging everything that we do. So this is something that we live by every day. So now let's look into how we're actually starting it. So everything that you start needs to start from within, right? So then the zero waste program is something that we started several years ago within our offices. And we said, okay, we are going to work towards 100% of the waste. So recycling pretty much like everything that we can. So you cannot go out there and say, we're going to have external programs, we're going to do all these wonderful things without doing it yourselves. And that was the first thing we did, right? So the first time I visited Uruguay and our offices, which I hope one day some of you will come and visit, you're very welcome. It's a beautiful country with a beautiful view of the sea, and you walk in, and the first thing which is striking is all this recycling containers, and people take it beyond seriously. So they would take time to sort out the garbage, to sort out and everything, and that is contagious, because when you see some of your coworkers doing that, then you start as well. Any questions or comments here?
Hello, guys. You may use the chat to ask your questions, and I would actually ask all of the questions to use the chat. By the end of Anna's talking, you should come up with one question each, and please type it in so we can start immediately after Anna is done with her talk with your questions, okay?
Okay.
Good.
Okay,
Great. Continue.
All right. So these are another two different programs that we also participate. So for example, Nahual, this is a concept that started years back in Argentina, and then it expanded to Uruguay. So obviously Argentina is a lot larger country, but it is a half an hour flight from Argentina to Uruguay. A lot of programs that start there also then come later to Uruguay, and the other way around. So Nahual is a concept where it does help population to integrate into the labor market, right, by a variety of ways. So this again goes back to IT. People who are over 50, I was mentioning it, the young population, which is just coming out of school, they all want to have work. There is a lot of demand. However, everybody wants somebody who is skilled, who has the experience, somebody who knows what they're doing. So there are a variety of ways that we help them. You need to write your CV. You need to know how to interview. You need to know what are those basics. And the way we work with this program is our employees dedicate their time. They do it voluntarily, and we partner with those organizations to come in and do some of these trainings and the courses. And you see from some of these pictures here, these are extremely dynamic and active sessions where people they're having fun. Yes, they're learning, but they're also very engaged, and they walk out with this like, oh, this is great, I've learned something, and then they go out there and they get jobs. We work with companies or organizations that support underprivileged population, and there are numbers of trainings and number of courses that we're doing specifically for that group of the population. And that is great, because then they suddenly understand that, okay, just because they come from a certain layer, it doesn't mean that they cannot have opportunities in life. That does not mean that they cannot be successful. And then they break the barriers and they go further and further and further. So I have an example of somebody who is actually now working at PYXIS, but we'll get to that later, which is one of our success stories. So a little bit more details here about the 50 plus. So again, you will see that our employees are giving their time. They love doing it. So one of the things that PYXIS works a lot, we have incredible amount of the projects, and projects are also around the world. So a lot of times you have to work different hours, different time zones. But even then, by having this crazy busy work hours, people find time to go and help somebody else. So you see here just some of the pictures of how the people who are over 50, they come to us and they interact. And this year we're just starting 3 internship programs within our company for the people who are 50 plus. So then it's not just the theory, but you also can implement it in practice. You come, you learn, you get the skills, and then you can actually get the internship, and then internships generally turned into the paid jobs. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe just something to resonate, right? Great organizations don't just drive profits, they lead people, and they change the course of industries and sometimes our lives in the process. And this is very true, because even if we look at the large organizations and companies out there who are successful, who are doing well, they are not just focusing on the profits, because profits will come if you are doing your work in a very sustainable and in a good way, so to say. So this is a very interesting new program or app that we're working on. It's not out there yet, but this is one of the larger ones. So we call it Iruka. And Iruka is going to be an app that will help parents who have children with disabilities. And I'm sure that is exactly the same in Russia, that is exactly the same in Europe. The parents who have children with certain disabilities, they need to do a lot of additional work to bring them to the doctors, to schedule their appointments, to keep track of where they have to go, what is the outcome of that doctor visit, etc., etc. And that combined with their everyday work and everyday studies and everything can become very overwhelming. So from one hand, they're already overwhelmed because their kids have issues, unfortunately. And then on the other hand, they have to deal with everything on top of that. So we had a big brainstorming session and we came up with this idea like, look, let's help these parents. Let's have an app which will combine everything. So the app will have their schedule, the app will have their information, they will have the things about their vaccinations, and so on and so forth. All the information that can be scattered in one place. And since we are a tech company, we said that we can develop it ourselves. And this is a new cool project that we're working on right now. It's not out yet, but it will be soon. And maybe one day we can have a Russian version of Iruka.
Yeah, and all translated here. Yeah.
So now this is just quickly going back to when I was talking about the companies who do sustainable work, right? Like I had two examples of, for example, Starbucks. They were not focusing on selling coffee, never. They were thinking about how can we create an environment where people come together, where it is a focus on the community, and they have a great time. It's a balance of like home and work environment. So they started creating the spaces, and then coffee came afterwards, and then obviously profits came by. Tom's, I guess all of you know about Tom's, and the company stands out. There are million companies out there who sell shoes, but then we all know Tom's, and we know it because every time you buy a pair, the one pair goes to a child who needs a pair of shoes. Simple, very straightforward, and something that stands out. So when you are CEOs and CEOs of like large companies further down the road, think about those simple things that you could do so that you stand out against your competition.
We just had Tom's as an example during today's class, and now so at least this company the students should know by now, and what is it doing? And the idea comes from Argentina, so we are now connected to South America as well.
Well, so then I guess we had a sixth sense into your class today. So.
Yes, intuition or collective thinking independently.
Exactly. Yeah. So. Yeah, and then now our success and pride and everything. So we actually tried to invite Augusto, but he had a class in the morning. But Augusto is this guy, this adorable student who came out from the underprivileged population. He dropped out of the school just on the 4th year. And he was just thinking that that's it. He cannot study. He cannot have opportunities. He cannot have, like bright future. So somehow he got involved into the ANIMA program. So ANIMA is the program in Uruguay that supports underprivileged population, and we work with this company. And he came into this so-called computer day, and during the computer day, this is where you get introduced to the programs and you can get involved. And then he subscribed to it and started studying. So PYXIS works with ANIMA. We help them with providing training, with helping students. And fast forward sometime Augusto completes 2 years of his high school. He is going back to the studying. He learned some critical IT skills, and he turns out to be fantastic. And he is getting an internship at PYXIS, which is turning into a paid job. And now he is one of us. So a couple of months ago, he was featured in the local newspaper. So he became almost like a national pride for somebody who had nothing, who had no hope, who had no opportunities. And he is, he's now basically one of us, and he's probably he's for sure going to be extremely successful in his career because he's very young and he's already accomplished a lot. So I have a message from...
we already have 4 questions for you, Anna. So I don't know if you want me to interrupt you, because there is something which probably didn't come clear enough. So it looks like Veronika Pankova has a question that she didn't get what the company is doing. So if you could really, once again, just really quickly explain what PYXIS is doing.
What PYXIS is doing, yes. So PYXIS is a technology company. We are a company that is consulting in the area of the IT technologies. We help large corporations to build their websites, like online e-commerce websites. So for example, we used to work with Levi's. So Levi's had to put all their online presence online. So we did that. We work with Nikon, with Puma, with Reebok. So these are major companies that want to have like new systems of selling online. So this is what we help them with, the digital presence online. We help companies to do their digital marketing. You all receive probably emails from Starbucks, from TGI Fridays, from many other companies or that you buy from, and they say, hey, buy on this day because we have a promotion. Hey, I know that you went to the store and you like this product, so we have a discount for you. So this is all requires a lot of complex systems in the background to establish, to track the customer behavior, to understand what they do. So these are the types of things we do. Or sometimes you go in and you're interacting with the chatbots, right? You think it's a person, but it's actually not a person. This is a trained algorithms which can answer a lot of questions. So that's the variety of
you're invisible. Mostly people don't see what you're doing.
Exactly. People don't see, but then if that doesn't exist, then you will not be able to be online. You will not be able to buy online, and so on.
Let's start. We have with Halina Perian. Could you please switch off? Yes, thank you. So we can have a better connection. Okay, Anna, sorry for interrupting. You have a few more slides to go. Do you want to continue now with the presentation?
You know, I wanted to play a message from Augusto, but
oh,
I
wow.
left you a message. Now let me just see how I can do this. I have to find a way. Sorry, guys.
Probably it's on the desktop.
Yeah, it's no. Yeah, let's do this. Let's maybe let me go through all of the slides, and then I will go to, because it's in a different program, right? That will be like the closing bonus for, like, you know, message from Augusto. So we can definitely all work together, partner up together. You know, we're happy to share our experience. You are welcome to come to us, you know, look at our Twitter. You can join our Eruca community, which is, this is the project which is still being built and it is not done yet. And if any of you is studying technology, we're happy to work with you together. Come to Uruguay, see our programs in person. You can have a wonderful trip out of it. And I think it all comes to the fact, whether it is in person or remote, we can work together to make a difference. And yeah, so this is my closing slide, where we all can take responsibilities, and only together we can change the world. So, you know, even looking at the example today, you're starting something that you really believe in. I worked with Katerina 10 years ago, and now I'm doing something completely different, which is a technology. Ladies in Uruguay, they are working on their daily jobs. Oops, sorry. I'm really sorry. This was
Popular.
Oh God. Sorry guys, hang on 1 second. Okay. And yeah, so don't think that, oh, you know, I cannot do it because I cannot have access to this or that. We all can do things, and we all can only achieve it by working together. So that's my message, and that's pretty much the end of my presentation. But I'm going to now try to bring back this video that I wanted, right, to talk about, and then we can do the Q&A.
Or we also can introduce your beautiful colleagues so they can tell us a few words from Uruguay. How about that?
Absolutely, let's do that, yeah.
And then I would encourage students to write down your questions in the chat. I see now 3 more persons who have done that, but there are like 20 of you. So please do write your questions to Anna. So, looks like the video is ready to go.
Should we play it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
With you, but I'm in class right now. Thanks to anyone.
Anna, you have to do it from the start.
Okay.
From who I'm Augusto. I wish I could be there with you, but I'm in class right now. Thanks to anyone and PYXIS for giving me a full scholarship at Universidad URT. And Anna told you a little bit of my story, but if you want to know more about me, you can contact me or ask the girls. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Wonderful. So we have one more gentleman joining us. So the real story, the connection to real life, and that's how social responsibility of the business could look like, and how you're caring about the communities and making the impact on the lives of other people. So, wonderful example. So how now about moving to Uruguay? Lady.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. You have wrote some questions for us, so we will read it. One of them was, when you help people with employment, do you just teach them how to write CVs or pass interviews, or also provide precise job and offer for companies? Both. Yeah. We have this kind of training about CVs and also the interviews. Also, PYXIS gave jobs from some of them, yeah. And we have this kind of list of emails where we send to a group of persons that have interest in get a job and doesn't have any kind of experience, and this list offers them this how do you say, puestos de trabajo.
So basically what we do is we send emails with job offers, so people can later like
apply to the job. That's the expression.
Yeah.
Apply to the job, but jobs that only for people who doesn't have experience.
Yeah.
That is what we do. We try to get them to their first job. That is our intention.
Mm-hmm.
So like my students, they could be potentially applying to you because many of them have no job experience. They are third-year students. Excuse me, I forgot to introduce who the students are. We're in the International Management class. This is the 3rd year of their bachelor program. And yeah, they might be working somewhere outside of Russia. Not since International Management and English is the language taught in this program. Yeah, so who knows? And I see
totally.
we have
that would be very interesting.
yeah. Looks like we have a long list of questions now. So, ladies, Anna, how do we go? Do we
let them answer it? Yeah, I think they are the ones who are on the field. So let's have them do it.
Well, then someone else tell us, wonderful, we are waiting for the next one. Well, thank you very much. How exactly will the app Iruka help those parents, and which main problems will it decide? Okay, Iruka should be the assistance for this kind of parents. This kind of parents has this the problem that they have to do all the things that in their normal life has, like their jobs, their houses, their families, and all. In the other hand, they also have to take care of these kind of kids, and they have to take them to a lot of doctors, a lot of professors, and another kind of activities that are a big amount of activities that they have to schedule, they have to remember, they have to know the normatives, and a lot of stuff that Iruka will help them to resolve and keep it organized. That is the focus of the app, and the quite important thing is we did this with the parents. We sit with the parents, we do a lot of research with them. We ask them, well, what do you need? What kind of problem we can resolve to you? And we decided all together what we'll do Iruka. So Iruka is a product that we co-create with the customer. Yeah?
do you have a question? Because we have one student who keeps appearing.
Yeah. Do you have a question? No.
No?
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue with the list of questions that we have.
So,
what is the mission of your company? I think, Anna, did you cover it in the presentation or at the beginning?
I think, yeah. So apart from technologies, right? Technology is really the second level. It really is helping companies, helping corporations to survive in the world where there is so much digitization, where you have to adopt all these new technologies in order to be relevant. You have to do all these things. So we're helping them to navigate these overwhelming areas, to be online, to be present, to have their operations, very easy on the front end for the users and complex on the back end. So that's a very difficult thing to achieve, where the easier something looks on the front, like think about Google, right? You go to Google, what is there? One window, there's nothing. And now think about all the things that are happening in the background. So those are the types of things that we do. So we help them to stay relevant.
Great.
Well,
so the next question is it hard to be to be at the same time a company that gets about social responsibility? So
no.
Luckily for us, our team really cares about social responsibility. So Vicky is part of the team of people that work in PYXIS and work in the volunteer part of social responsibility. So basically, the company, since it was born, really cares about the people and trying to help the people. So it was really easy for us to develop our social responsibility area. And luckily, we have a lot of people in our team that really love to help. So it's been really a good match, and it's been really easy for us. So whenever we have an idea or we want to help with something, a lot of people come to our meetings, a lot of people bring great ideas. So basically, it's been really easy for us to be able to do good things for the country and the world. And yeah, we are basically just okay.
Looks like we have some people laughing. Who's having some fun here? Would you show up and cover and give us your question?
Okay.
Well, and I have to add something that it's not difficult, because in my job, I'm as a doctor. Okay. As a software engineer, I work with teams all the time, and with teams here in Uruguay and in different countries also. And we try to take this culture, this thing about social responsibility, also into our work day by day. So it's not two different things that we have to put it together. It's just one thing that we do just for work every day and also for the community. For us, it's all the same. I hope so. This was the answer you was expected. Then someone else will, people ask about the presentation. I think, Anna, you will send them the presentation, right?
We'll share the presentation.
Yes. Then what are the main challenges, several obstacles you faced, and how did you solve them? Okay, I think one of the big as as a lead of the volunteers, I will
Yes,
answer
in your
you.
field, to make it more specific, otherwise it's very general.
Exactly. As in my field, that as leading the volunteers, the big issue you will have is the constance of the people that wants to give their help, because at first everyone will tell you, yes, I will help you, and then it will not be constantly in time. So in my opinion, I always tell them, to the volunteers, that first, the task they will have.
Ребята, вы что-нибудь пишете там?
Oh, please, Vano, could you switch off your microphone because it's now getting disturbing.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. So first of all, you should give them a little task in time and little tasks to understand what they have to do, and they can be their compromise in a short time, because it's more probably that they will do it if it is a day, an afternoon, or just a week, that it should be a long time compromise. That is the first. Then we have a lot of volunteers, so if all the volunteers give them just 1 hour, we can do a lot of stuff, and will be more probably that we can get success in the long time. And in the other hand, I always tell them, the volunteers, that they should have some interest in these kind of activities. Why? Because if it's not a real win for the person, it will not sustainable in time. So for instance, this is something that really makes me happy. I did this because I really feel that gives me a lot. Talking with people, having with people, for me. Someone else could say, okay, I will do it because it's a professional way to show me and get practice. It's totally valid answer. And as that, there are not another kind of answers that I think are okay, but always you have to have in your mind what is the objective you have when you put time in this kind of activities. It's really important, the compromise, and if you have an objective, the compromise is most probably will be success.
Yeah. And maybe from the company point of view, so I think our main challenge could be so choosing what we can help. So basically here in Uruguay, you have a lot of companies that want to help. You have a lot of organizations that help. So basically we have to decide, how do we want to help? What is our best way to help? So basically what we do is we do technology. So that's why Iruka was so important to us, because we decided to help in something that we are good at. So basically, I think the most challenging part is what Victoria said, to get the people to, so a lot of people compromise, like they really want to help, but then in the everyday life, they have families, they have different activities, so maybe it can be hard. So we try to help, maybe allowing them to work in work hours. So we had a program a few years ago where they have like they had hours that they could help, and they could do it maybe in their working hours, and then be flexible with their times. They could do those hours that they took in the middle of the workday to maybe do it later. So we were really flexible with the hours. So we try to really help our SP, that is the social responsibility volunteer community, to really help them, giving them time, flexible hours, different, maybe even finance some activities. And yeah, I mean, basically from the company's point of view, it's more about choosing which battles to help, and really trying to find activities that motivate the people to really help. Because from a money point of view, we are lucky that the company is doing really well, so we can really help, and it's not a problem. So we talk to the directors, and they really want to help. So if really there's an activity that we can do that is not super expensive, I mean, they will say yes right away.
From the side of the volunteers, that is a lot of backup for us.
Yeah.
We know if we have an idea, the company will come with us.
Sorry, ladies, could you just maybe in a few words explain what corporate volunteering in your case is, and how much can one employee volunteer per month or per year? Are there any limitations, restrictions, or there are no policies about that?
Esas hay limitaciones con los voluntarios.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time, whether it's like a set time or like, you know, how does
project by project basis.
Okay, there is two kinds of the way we do the stuff. One is Maria's side, that company do activities and give us time inside our work day to do it. And in the other hand, when we talk about volunteers, is the free time the person has in their life outside the work.
So basically, with Anima, what we do is, for example, my time, I work 8 hours a day. So basically, sometimes I can use my entire morning to do an activity for Anima, and those are paid hours. So the company is paying for my time to go and do and help with something. We have a developer called Claudio that he teaches classes in Anima that are from this, it's called Scrum Master, so it's a way of working. And these are paid hours for him. So basically, he takes hours from his time that are paid. I think it's 3 hours or 4 hours every Friday. And he goes there and he teaches. So basically, the company is paying him, and the company has no restrictions about the time. So those are paid hours that we have, some people in the company have, that they can help specifically in certain activities.
Yeah.
And then we have the volunteer part, that is more being flexible with the time, but it's not paid hours.
Exactly. In my case, for instance, I do a lot of these kind of activities, and one of them is Iruka, as we were talking about. I'm one of the technical leaders of Iruka. In my month, I can spend just 10 hours of my month, in Iruka, in payway, inside my work. But all of the other things I do, and I really do a lot of things inside Iruka, I do it from my free time, because I really believe in this project, and I think it's an amazing way to really do the difference in the community. So I almost spend sometimes 20 or 30 hours per month in Iruka, for instance, outside my work. Outside that's 10 hours. That is kind of the stuff we do. That answer your question?
Yes, perfect. And we have another question about which companies are your partners on this?
Yes. Okay. Which companies? Inside PYXIS, we are an ecosystem, right? Anna told you about, we are almost 10 companies, right, Anna?
Yep.
Okay, almost 10 companies. So all the companies inside PYXIS help, and also some of the partners we have outside. For instance, for Iruka, we have an alliance with 2 companies that does testing. Testing is the companies who test the product before that product come to the production to the user. So we are working with 2 of them. They give us time from their employees in a pay way, and in the other hand, the employees also donate their time. And for in Nawal, that's something else that Anna told you about. This kind of is a meetup that we share knowledge, and for that I think a lot of companies inside the industry of technology in Uruguay have been involved, because they came and gave in a free way their knowledge to the people that came to this kind of meetings. And I don't know, I can still talking, but where was the...
And maybe something else to add there. So there are partners that will work on like specific projects, right? Like Vicky is mentioning, but there are also larger partners. I was mentioning SAP Next Gen. So we work with them, for example, to do events together. We work with them to put together something that would be, for example, in November, we're going to have an event which is going to be jointly between PYXIS, University of Montevideo, and SAP Next Gen. And this will bring together people who want to learn certain skills in machine learning. They want to work on sustainable projects. They're going to do some like test projects and then present them. So think about it as partners on many levels. They're partners for specific projects. They're partners such as like our customers, because sometimes they get involved, and they're partners, larger ones. So yes, like this goes back to all of this is only possible if you have a lot of parties around you involved. And when this is all happening, then those projects come together. We wouldn't be, if we were to volunteer our time, but there wouldn't be organization or a nonprofit like ANIMA that deals with underprivileged population. We wouldn't be able to do that, right? Because then we would have to set it all up on our own, go find those communities, see what they need, and do that. So that's a hell lot of work. Maybe then you could do one of these programs, or go and teach those classes. Again, you have to do a lot of work if you're doing it just alone. So partnering up, and you bring your own expertise, they bring their own. This is the way that it generally like works, and then it allows you to do many things, not just one.
Yes. Yeah, I will answer a question that you have wrote. Does the company in Uruguay want to expand more, or stay all in there? I'm not sure.
Understanding about the geography of the company, so we can just skip this one because Anna covered that. And how about going to the question, how do you evaluate your progress in sustainable development? Do you have any exact indicators that you use? From Katya.
Which one? Can you repeat it?
How you evaluate your progress in sustainable development, and do you have any exact indicators?
Yeah, well, in the side of the volunteers, the way we have been evaluate our success is counting the hours of the volunteers they donate for us. Because if the main objective of us is involve as many persons as we can. So the way our indicator is that how many people this month have been involved in some of our programs. That is the way. And in one of the very best indicator we had in the past was for one PYXIS Happy Day family. We almost involve the 50% of the company. If we have 300 persons, we was a lot of people.
Yeah.
On your side?
So basically on our side, what we do is, Anna was telling you very well that we join a lot of companies and we really collaborate with a lot of companies. For example, Anima has its own indicators. So basically what we ask is so they could send us the results. So on our side, in our projects, we have different indicators. For example, in the plus 50, it hasn't ended yet, but our indicator is going to be, okay, we're going to do a test at the end of the course to see how well did they learn, and then we are probably going to do an indicator that is how many people get jobs. So we have 10 plus 50 candidates. So it's how many of those 10 are going to get jobs? How do we help them get jobs? How well are their jobs? So basically, our indicators really, since we're talking about people, sometimes it's not very easy to generate an indicator, and we are not focused on the numbers. So we're not really focused on, for example, when we go recruit, it's not how many candidates did we meet and send their curriculums. It's more about how many good candidates. So we're always looking for the quality, not so much the quantity. So basically, when we try to find indicators, it's something that we're still working at. But basically, what we do is we try to really make sure that we know the quality of our results and not so much the quantity. So it's better to help one person and really change their life than maybe help 100, but not so much. So our focus is really on that.
Yes, and I can tell you about an indicator we have in the side of the program Nawal, this one about meetups. As Mary says, it is about the quality of the work, it's not the quantity. And in Nawal, we have it has almost 6 years in Uruguay, and we have almost 30 people that have jobs thanks to our work. And in particular, we have one girl. This girl was called Alex. Alex is a trans girl. That is quite particular because as a professional in the IT industry here in Uruguay, it's something different. She's an incredible professional. She started with us, she learned with us, and today she's a girl that she speaks for another girls in the same condition, that it is possible to change. It is possible you can be a trans girl and also work inside the industry and will be okay, and you will be a professional as the same as the rest.
Yeah.
So, and that is for us one an incredible success story. Yeah. We think that in the volunteer staff, that kind of indicators are the ones that motivate us.
So just to put a little bit of context, here in Uruguay, we don't have that many trans people, but most trans people never finish high school.
Never.
So it's a really great accomplishment for this girl to actually finish high school and study technology and be able to get a job, a professional job. So it's her own merit, but we're really proud so we could help her maybe be able to get a technical degree, because basically here, sadly, we still have discrimination. So it's really hard for people that are different to maybe get a job. So we're lucky that we have a great example of someone that can move on and really accomplish something, and the discrimination is not
no, it's for us it's an incredible case.
Wonderful. It just addresses one of the SDGs, gender equality, number 5, if I'm not mistaken. So
it is number 5, and this is interesting. We touched on it. So last week I was at a big presentation was hosted by SAP NextGen, which was awarding organizations around the world. The award was called Beyond Sports. And there were hundreds of organizations around the world who were nominated. And there were only a few selected for each one of the SDGs. And it's incredible to see what are the cause lists around the world. So actually, I'm very proud because I am on the board of an Armenian organization which helps girls to play soccer, and through that they're breaking stereotypes. So yeah, I'm originally from Armenia, the country where also there is a lot of stereotypes, and girls playing soccer, girls doing this, it's suddenly seen very, very no. And yeah, so we won the award for the gender equality. And some things which, like, you know, can be in this country seen like, oh yeah, well, of course, you know, you can do this, you can do that. And no, it's not. In Iran, for example, women are not allowed to go to the stadiums. I don't know if you saw a week ago, a girl burned herself on the streets just as a protest because she tried to get to the stadium. She was as a man, and she was arrested. She was put in the jail, and then she had like terrible mental issues. And then, yeah, she basically committed suicide as a way of protesting. So in the days like this, where we think that the world is very modern, there are places that it is absolutely not modern yet, right? And these are small examples that can hopefully, like, you know, little by little help to change those things. Yeah.
And make your positive contribution to a world as a better place to live. I really would like to thank you all, ladies. I'm looking at the watch, and we're right on time with 1 hour flight. Time just flew with all of the interesting stories that you gave us. So there is a lot of food for thought for the students to digest. And I think that was a really great example of a high-tech company which is connected to reality and to real problems that people have nowadays, and to your creative solutions which are connected to your real business. And you gave us a great example how you do it with an app. And then the Uruguay team told us about what you do with corporate volunteering, what are the problems, how employees can get involved. And this is the excellent illustrations that we're really looking for, and we got it here. So I'm sure that we have a lot of inspiration. And the last story was just terrific, because that's also a big issue in Russia. We never discussed transgender, and I will be really looking forward to the next class and see impressions of what are the thoughts, and I will definitely share the reflections from the students with you. So thanks a lot for your time and for being with us.
Katarina, just one thing. First of all, thank you. We are very proud and very thanks to you to talk with us. It's incredible that we can talk from two sides, opposite sides of the world, about this, about what we do. Yeah. And we want to, there is a lot of questions there, and we really think that we could answer them to them. So if you want, we can give you our Twitters. So maybe if some of the students wants to talk with us, and also with Augusto, because Augusto also tell us the same, or our emails. We are very open to answer your questions and keep this conversation outside this classroom.
Wonderful. So I will just send all the questions which we didn't have time to address to you. Okay. And if you have time and wish to stay in touch, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anna, for connecting us. That was a brilliant idea to connect South America, North America, and European Russia in this time.
Absolutely. Yes, to be continued. So, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hugs.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, ladies.
Bye.